Good morning. Let's start Maths, Grade 6, Chapter 4, Data Handling and Presentation, Subtopic Bar Graphs. Learning objectives. After this session, we'll be able to define bar graphs, draw bar graphs, solve problems using bar graphs. Bar graphs. Like pictographs, bar graphs can help us to quickly understand and interpret information such as a highest value, the comparison values of different categories, etc. Have you ever seen in your newspaper or TV about this kind of the graphs? Example, here the number of endangered species is rising. This is an example for bar graph. However, when the amount of data is large, presenting it by pictography is not only time consuming but at times difficult too. That's why we are learning concept of bar graph. Definition of a bar graph. Bar graph is a chart or graph that represents categorical data with the rectangular bars with heights or lengths proportional to the values that represent. For example, here, what kind of pet do you own? Answer for this rabbit is 4. 4 members answered with this rabbit. Dog, 8 members answered. Cat, 11 members answered. Goldfish, 6. And hamster, 5. So, this is a representation of rabbit in this form of this kind of a rectangular, this one. This we are calling it as a bar. That's why the name of the graph which using this bar is called as a bar graph. Example of bar graphs. Let's take the data collected by Lakhanpar earlier regarding the number of students absent on one day in each class. Class 1, number of students absent 3. Class 2, number of students absent 5. Class 3, 4. Class 4, 2 members. Class 5, 0. Class 6, 1. Class 7, 5 members. Class 8, 7 members. See, the representation in this form of the bar graph is on x-axis we are considering the class. On y-axis we are considering this number of students absent. Grade 1, how many were absent in the student? 3. So, we are representing with this in the form of the rectangular bar. So, this is this grade 1, 3 members absent. Grade 2, 5. Grade 3, 4. Grade 4, 2. Grade 5, 0. So, we are not drawing any graph here. Grade 6, 1. Grade 7, 5 members. Grade 8, 7 members. Answer the following question using the bar graph. In class 2, dash students were absent that day. This is a class 2. How many students were absent? 5. Second question. In which class were the maximum number of students absent? By observing this bar graph, whichever is the highest, that indicates this maximum number of students absent on that day. So, which is the tallest here? Obviously, class A. Third question. Which class had full attendance that day? Here, wherever the 0 is there, that means full attendance. Absence are 0. So, class 5 is had a full attendance on that day. Let us see exercise problem. Figure it out. Question number 1. How many total cars passed through crossing between 6 a.m. and noon? Here, a bar graph is given. On x-axis, number of vehicles. On this y-axis, time intervals. 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 7 to 8 a.m., 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. So, we need to find out how many total cars passed through this crossing between 6 a.m. to noon. So, we have to sum up this one. Here, this is 150. So, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. 150. Next, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. is 1200. Next, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is 1000. 9 to 10 is around 820. Then 10 to 11 is 700. And 11 to 12 is 600. So, therefore, between 6 a.m. and noon, the total vehicles were 150 plus 1200 plus 1000 plus 820 plus 700 plus 600, which results to 4470 cars. Second question. Why do you think so little traffic occurred during the hour of 6 to 7 a.m. as compared to other hours from 7 a.m. noon? The traffic between 6 and 7 a.m. is very light as it is early in the morning and there were very few people commuting to work. Figure it out. Third question. Why do you think the traffic was heaviest between 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.? What my thought is, the hour between 7 and 8 a.m. experiences heaviest traffic as many office workers and parents commute by car with some driving their children to school. Why do you think the traffic was lesser and lesser each hour after 8 a.m. all the way until noon? If we observe the bar graph, the traffic is reducing here. So, my observation, what I have observed, most schools and many factories start at 8 a.m. So, which is why there is less traffic between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Similarly, since most offices begin 9 a.m. and shops open at 10 a.m., traffic remains little light between 8 a.m. to noon. Let us see how to draw a bar graph. Example here, the following table shows the monthly expenditure of Imran's family on various items. Here, items are house rent and expenditure is in rupees is given. Food 3400, education 800, electricity 400, transport 600, miscellaneous 1200 in rupees. To represent this in the bar graph, first we have to draw one horizontal and one vertical lines, that is this x-axis and y-axis. Okay. Here we are representing on this x-axis items. What are the items here? This one, house rent, food, education, electricity, transport, miscellaneous. House rent. Then maximum value that will be like within this 4000. So we are dividing it up, each is 500 of this. House rent 3000. So we are drawing a bar graph here. Next we are giving this some distance. For each bar there should be equal distance. Next, food is 3400, which is 100 less than this 3500. So this is this food. Education 800, electricity 400, transport 600, miscellaneous 1200. Bar graph example. Use the bar graph to answer the following questions. On which item does Imran's family spend the most and the second most? So if we observe the bar graph, which is the tallest here, the height is height-wise more, obviously food. So food is the most and the second most is house rent. According to the bar graph, Imran's family spends the most on food followed by the house rent as the second highest expenses. Second question. Is the cost of electricity about one half of the cost of education? If we observe, the electricity is 400 here and this education is 800. We can easily write 400 as half of 800. So the question is the cost of education about one half of the cost of education. Electricity, therefore, yes, according to the bar graph, the cost of electricity is one half of the cost of education. Is the cost of education less than 1/4 of the food? Education here is 800. Food is 3400. Obviously, this is yes, 1000 3,400 divided by 4 will be always less than this, greater than the 800. So, according to this bar graph, the cost of education is 800 is less than one fourth of this food 3,400. But 800 is less than one fourth of 3,400. Therefore, the cost of education is less than one fourth of the cost of the food. Thank you.